everyone, and thank you for joining me for Crafting Around with Miss Heather. I'm so happy you're here today to make our paper tube birdhouse. All of you should have grabbed a craft supply kit from the library, and now you can either follow along with me in this video or follow along on the printed instructions. Are you ready to get started? The next thing you're going to need is that craft kit. It looks like this. Okay, so now it is time to open your craft kit. And once you've done that, you will find, let's just go over what is in the kit, a paper tube, right, like this, with pointy ends here and a hole here. That's the entrance for your little birdhouse. You should also have a blue piece of cardstock that's folded with string. And yours will either be light blue like mine or a little bit darker. It doesn't matter, your string can be blue or red. That's going to be part of your roof for your birdhouse. And then you should also have a green circle cardstock. That's going to be your birdhouse base. And then also included in your craft kit should be some small multicolored circles. Those are going to be the shingles for your birdhouse roof. So make sure you have everything you need, lay it out. That's what I like to do when I'm doing crafts like this. And just a reminder, the only other thing you're going to need is glue to do this craft. And if you're like me, I like to put my liquid glue in a little cup like this and then use a Q-tip or a paintbrush to apply. I just feel like I have a little bit more control with the glue rather than just out of the bottle. If you don't have a cup and you don't have a paintbrush or a Q-tip, go for the bottle. It doesn't really matter. This is just what I like to do. It's a good little trick. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that, if you look at the instructions, there should also be instructions in printed in your craft kit, but and you can follow along with that as well. You'll see that step 1 says you may choose, if you want, to paint or decorate, maybe with marker, your paper tube before you do anything else. I'm not going to do that in this video, but if you want to, you're definitely more than welcome to. And I just ask or suggest that you wait for it to dry completely before moving on with the next steps, so that your birdhouse stays with the beautiful design that you make. So if you're going to go ahead and decorate your paper tube, do that now. You can use paint or marker. I'm not sure if crayon will show up. You could give it a try. So pause the video, do that now, let it dry, and then come back for step 2. If you are starting with step 2, you're skipping the painting, then we're ready to begin. So what you're going to do, you need your green circle, which is going to be, like I said, the birdhouse base, and your paper tube and your glue. And you're going to take the glue and just put it at or around the bottom of your paper tube. The bottom is, of course, the edge that's near the hole, not the pointy side. The bottom is where the hole is for the entrance to your birdhouse. And don't be shy about your glue application. It will dry clear. And I will say it many times, we're not going for perfection here. We're going for art and crafty fun. No pursuit of perfection here. So we might need to apply a little bit more glue once we do the next step, which is firmly but also gently pushing and placing the birdhouse onto the green circle. So now if you see it this way, you can see that I'm firmly but gently, so as not to bend the green paper or your paper tube, attaching the birdhouse to its base. And you're just going to hold it there for a little bit, let the glue sit and set for a bit. And when you think that it's set a little bit, you can go ahead and stand it upright. And we're going to go ahead and let that dry completely before moving on to step 2. So again, gently but firmly, without bending the green piece of paper or the paper tube, press that on there so that they attach. If you think you need to add a little bit more glue, maybe you didn't put enough on originally, go ahead, you could just go like that. Doesn't hurt. You don't want it to become unattached, so you can just kind of do it right where the bottom of the paper tube meets the green paper. And again, don't be shy with your glue application. Most likely you're using glue that will dry clear, and if not, it's okay if we're not going for perfection. So now that you have your base attached to the paper towel tube or paper tube, you are going to want that to dry, right? We want to let that dry completely. So we're going to put that aside. So as long as you feel comfortable it's standing upright, go ahead and put that aside. We're going to let that dry. And while we're letting that dry, we're going to work on our roof. So you're going to need the blue piece of folded cardstock. That's going to be the roof sort of base. And then you're going to also need the multicolored smaller circles. That will be, I'm going to move that over, that will be the shingles for your roof. And then of course you'll need your glue. So the most important thing about the roof that you need to remember is you don't want to, when you're gluing the shingles on, you don't want to glue over the string, okay? That will be a problem. You won't be able to hang your birdhouse if you do that. So as you're doing this next step, just make sure that you kind of keep your string either like kind of pressing mine along the crease there to keep it out of the way. And then I have all my circles here ready to go. So if you want to make your roof look kind of like a traditional shingle with a traditional shingle pattern, then I suggest you glue them on this way, starting at the edges here and here, and then layering over each row, and that will kind of give you a traditional roof look. But there is no right or wrong way to do this. You may glue in any way, shape, or form you want. You don't have to make a pattern. You can make a pattern. There are a couple different colors to choose from. So I'm going to get started, and again with my glue and my Q-tip, making sure that that string is out of the way. And I'm just going to paint on my glue here. And I'm going to start gluing on my shingles. And I don't think I'm even going to worry about a pattern for this one. I'm just going to glue them on in any way, shape, or form. I want it to be sort of beautiful and random. Be careful when you're doing the next row that you don't knock off the one before. If you're doing the row sort of look like that, and maybe a pink one like that, how about a green one? And of course, just like in any other gluing craft, you want to push them down, make sure that they're staying on, staying attached. Okay, now it's time for the next one. And you're going to do this for both sides of your roof. I can't wait to see how yours turns out. That's a good plug, a good reminder that we would love to see your creation. So when you do finish it, please feel free to post it to our Facebook page so we can see your beautiful design. Okay, so I've finished one side. I'm going to flip it over carefully, and again pushing down the shingles, and I'm going to do the other side. Okay, and now you can see I've glued on all of my shingles to my roof, and as you can see in the instructions, you definitely want to make sure that you allow the shingles to completely dry before moving on to the next step. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right like that and let it rest. Make sure gently that they're all attached. There's enough glue, and I'm going to let that sit. Maybe check on your base, see how that's doing. As you can see, mine is still pretty wet, so before going on to the next step, I'm going to leave both of these here to completely dry before I go ahead and attempt to attach the roof to the top of my paper tube and to make the sort of the final step for the birdhouse. So this is a good opportunity for you to pause the video and go do something else for a little bit, and then come back when everything's sort of completely dry. That way you don't run the risk of moving things around or messing it up. So pause the video and go do something fun for a little bit, and then come back for the final step. Okay, so now we have waited, we're back, we've waited and allowed our paper tube and base to dry, and also the shingles on our roof to dry. And it's time now to attach the roof to the paper tube and complete your birdhouse. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your glue and your Q-tip or your paintbrush or just your glue bottle. And you're going to put the glue around the top, the 2 points, all the way around. And again, just a reminder, don't be shy with the glue because you want that roof to stay on and attach. So just, you can see, it's okay if it goes on the edge, over the side. Do a little bit more on this side. Okay. I think that's good. That side. And then you're going to take your roof, and as long as your shingles are all dry, you might want to refold along the crease that was already there in your roof, just to or sort of make it stiff again so that it stays like a triangle. Okay, and so you've got your glue on the top of your paper tube, you've got your roof ready to go, and you're just simply going to place the roof on like that. Turn mine this way so you can see, and it should rest on those points of your paper tube like that. And again, just like you did with the base and the paper tube when you were attaching those, you're going to want to press gently but firmly on your rooftop as you attach it to the paper tube. You can even do it this way. I'm just sort of gently pushing my hands together, but again, being careful not to push too hard so that you don't bend the paper tube or your roof or the green bottom. And you're just going to do that for a little bit until it sets. And if you look closely, you can see I have a little bit of a gap there. It's not going to be perfect, right? We're not looking for perfect here, but that's okay. Most of my roof is touching my paper tube, so it should stay attached when it's all dry. So again, just hold that a little bit longer. You can kind of move your fingers around to make sure. Then you can go ahead and flip it if you want to hold it this way. That works too. And just do that. And again, before you do anything else with your birdhouse, before you hang it or play with it, you want to make sure that it dries completely. Make sure that that roof is on there nice and sturdy. You have now completed your birdhouse, and it's in honor of Earth Day, or in celebration of Earth Day, because all of the paper tubes that were put in the craft kits to be used to make the birdhouses were saved over time. So by making your birdhouse, you're finding a new use for an everyday household item. And the paper was all scrap paper that was just cut into the shapes needed. And so now you have your finished birdhouse, and you can either find a nice place to hang your birdhouse or put it somewhere that you can enjoy, or you can use it to play with tiny toys. As you can see, I have a little Hatchimal or a little Lego guy. They all fit in there. You can put shredded paper, or if you have some fake grass or something else you want to put in there, maybe some cotton balls to make a little nice cushiony home for your little animals, your little toys, whatever you want to do. You could decorate it more once it's all dry, put stickers, or if you have spray glitter. There are lots of options that you can sort of use to add more to your birdhouse. But I'm so glad that you were able to join me in making this craft. I hope you had fun. And once again, please feel free to share your final project on our Facebook page. We would love to see how your birdhouse came up. This is Miss Heather with Craftin' Around, and I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.